Welcome back. So this week we have another great topic. Halloween is right around the corner, so I want to talk all about how to prepare your dog for Halloween so you can make it through Halloween with your dog safely and not have any issues, right? So let's just jump right into it. So first, let's talk about Halloween costumes, right? So it's really fun to, dress up your dog and things like that. If you're gonna dress up your dog, just make sure that the costume is what's the word is not that they're free to move in the costume, that is not uncomfortable for them, is not too tight. Because if you have a dog that's not used to like wearing clothes or things like that, or even a harness, they're just not gonna feel comfortable in a costume that you're gonna put on once a year. So you want to make sure that the costume fits them properly and that it's not too restricting for them. And I always say, make sure that you try the costume on your dog before Halloween. So I know Halloween is next week. Try the costume on your dog today. Let them get used to wearing it. Maybe have them put it on for like 5 or 10 minutes, a few hours, just so they can get used to wearing it. You don't want to wait till Halloween day and throw it on your dog, and you'll get a lot of this, a lot of this, and things like that. So you just want to make sure that it's, they can move in it, it fits properly, and you want to make sure that while your dog has the costume on, depending on what they have on a costume, always supervise them too, especially if they start chewing on things and such. So just make sure they're comfortable. Next, let's address treats, right? There's going to be tons of candy, maybe tons of food. You may be having a Halloween party. You want to make sure that your dog doesn't indulge in those foods that are dangerous for them. There's tons of foods that can be dangerous for dogs, but one of them is chocolate. That can be very dangerous for your dogs and toxic. You just don't want them to eat any candy in general. It can cause vomiting, diarrhea, all sorts of things. So what I have done and what you can do for your dog, and sometimes I think it's so cute, right? Especially you have some people are going to be taking their dogs trick or treating. You can either buy some dog treats, leave them outside with the candy bowl, so and put like dog treats on them, so that your neighbors can, trick or treat with their dogs. Likewise, if you do have dogs in the house, and or if you're having a gathering and everything like that, put a bowl out for dogs with food they can eat as if it's like their trick or treat candy. That way you don't get into dogs being so impulsive and things like that, or feeding them the wrong things. And you want to make sure you watch the kids too, because little kids will, quickly hand over a piece of candy to the dog. So make sure you monitor your kids around the dog when they're opening the candy and things of such. Let's talk about trick or treating and dealing with visitors, right? So if you have a dog that's, reactive, barking, doesn't do good with visitors or things like that, one thing we talk about as dog trainers is creating a safe zone. A safe zone can be wherever your dog feels most comfortable in the house. So for some dogs, it'll just be simply putting them in the crate and letting them chill out there. Some dogs love crates. You can put them in a room, put on a noise sound machine if you have that, play classical music because it's known to relax the dog, especially if your dog's anxious or things like that. If they're on medication, Halloween may be the night you want to give them that medication that helps to relax them, just so they're not so stimulated by the doorbells ringing over and over again. But definitely finding a safe zone so that your dog's not too overwhelmed by, the doorbells. Or if, like, again, if you're having a party, I always talk about this for any type of event, never mind Halloween, just creating a safe space for your dog to retreat to, or a place, an area that if your dog gets too overwhelmed, you can put them there. And I always tell families, make sure you give your dog something to engage with. If you are putting them in a safe place, you just don't want to put them in a crate or put them in a room. That's like someone saying, hey, go in a room, and you just like sitting there, right? You don't want to be bored, so give your dog something to do, whether it's a Kong or bone. Keep them engaged so they're not worried about the hustle bustle that's going on around them. I would say that's one of the top tips, most important tips up there when it comes to Halloween. Also, if you're taking your dog out with you on a walk, of course, the decorations have been out since the beginning of October, so your dog may be used to them. But if not, again, you don't want to wait till Halloween to take your dog on that route that you're going to walk for Halloween. You want to take them out in advance to see the decorations, so you never know what your dog's going to be afraid of. If people do have those light up jack-o'-lanterns, dogs are very intrigued at things. Make sure you're keeping them away from the decorations because you don't want to get into owing people money for destructive property. Um, Last but not least, identification. We want to make sure that your dog has identification tags on them. Halloween can be sometimes one of those holidays where, although your dog's okay on walks, something could easily spook them. They could take off, and that'll be that. So you want to make sure you have dog tags on them, the identification tags. And if you want, you can get one of those reflective vests or collars or things like that, so they can be seen in the dark. But definitely make sure your dog has identification tags. You don't want to lose your dog anywhere in the process. So just to go through all of them again, you want to make sure if your dog is wearing a costume, try it on today, and moving forward, make sure they're comfortable with it, make sure it fits nicely, it's not too restricting, and that they're able to move about. First, treats, you want to make sure that your dog's not getting any of those hazardous treats like chocolate, candy, and things. Aside setting up a little bowl with their own treats is fine. And dealing with visitors, make sure your dog has a safe space, whether it's a crate, room, or even sitting with a person. It's whatever your dog's safe space is for them, or that you know about. Again, going on the walk, making sure that you're looking out for decorations, watching your dog's body language. If they do look fearful of things, going around the decorations, moving them away so it's not as scary. And last but not least, just making sure your dog has identification tags. We don't want to lose any dog on Halloween or any day of the week, so just make sure they have tags. So I hope you got some good tips to make it through Halloween and get you started. As always, if you have questions, drop them in the comments. If you're driving along and you're a podcast person, you can always find me on Spotify, Stitcher, all those podcast platforms at Positive Dog Training Convos. Other than that, enjoy your Halloween next week, enjoy your week, and I'll see you next week with another great topic. Bye.